Learn English through stories of 36 PDF. Adapted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: 1. Lost love. 2. Mini stories. 5. 3 story of adjectives. 5. 4 dialogues. 5. Picture dictionary page. 1. Lost love. These things happened to me nearly 10 years ago. I lived in a city, but the city was hot in summer. I wanted to see the country. I wanted to walk in the woods and see green trees. I had a little red car and I had a map too. I drove all night out into the country. I was happy in my car. We had a very good summer that year. The country was very pretty in the early morning. The sun was hot and the sky was blue. I heard the birds in the trees. And then my car stopped suddenly. What's wrong? I thought. Oh dear, I haven't got any petrol. Now I'll have to walk. I'll have to find a town and buy some petrol. But where am I? I looked at the map. I wasn't near a town. I was lost in the country. And then I saw the girl. She walked down the road with flowers in her hand. She wore a long dress, and her hair was long too. It was long and black, and it shone in the sun. She was very pretty. I wanted to speak to her, so I got out of the car. Hello, I said. I'm lost. Where am I? She looked afraid, so I spoke quietly. I haven't got any petrol, I said. Where can I find some? Her blue eyes looked at me and she smiled. She's a very pretty girl, Elle thought. I do not know, she said. Come with me to the village. Perhaps we can help you. I went with her happily, and we walked a long way. There isn't a village on the map, I thought. Perhaps it's a very small village. There was a village, and it was old and pretty. The houses were black and white and very small. There were a lot of animals. The girl stopped at a house and smiled at me. Come in, please, she said. I went in. The house was very clean, but it was strange too. There was a fire and some food above it. I felt hungry then. That's strange, I thought. They cook their food over a wood fire. Perhaps they have no money. I met her father and mother, and I liked them. They were nice people, but their clothes were strange. Sit down, slid the old man. Are you thirsty after your walk? He gave me a drink, and I said, thank you. But the drink was strange too. It was dark brown and very strong. I didn't understand, but I was happy there. I asked about petrol, but the old man didn't understand. Petrol? He asked. What is that? This is strange, I thought. Then I asked, do you walk everywhere? The old man smiled. Oh, no, we use horses, he said. Horses? I thought. Horses are very slow. Why don't they have cars? But I didn't say that to the old man. I felt happy there. I stayed all day, and I ate dinner with them that evening. Then the girl and I went out into the garden. The girl's name was Mary. This is nice, she said. We like having visitors. We do not see many people here. We spoke happily. She was very beautiful. But after a time, she began to talk quietly, and her face was sad. Why are you sad? I asked her. I cannot tell you, she said. You are only a visitor here. We have to say goodbye tonight. You have to go now. I didn't understand. I loved her. I knew that, and I wanted to help her. Why did I have to go? But Mary said again, in a sad voice, You have to go. It is dangerous here. So I said, I'll go to the next town and find some petrol, then I'll come back. She didn't speak. I love you, Mary, I said. And I'll come back to you. You won't stop me. She said goodbye to me at the door. Her face was very sad, and I was sad too. I didn't want to go. It was midnight. The night was very dark, but I walked and walked. I was very tired when I saw the lights of a town. I found some petrol, and then I asked the name of the village. But the man at the garage gave me a strange look. "What village?" he asked. I told him about the village. I told him about the old houses and the people with strange clothes. Again he gave me a strange look. He thought, and then he said, "There was a village there, but it isn't there now. There are stories about it, strange stories." "What do people say about it?" I asked. He didn't want to tell me, but then he said, "There was a big fire in the village. Everybody died. There aren't any people or houses there now." "How did it happen?" I asked. "And why?" "Oliver Cromwell killed them," he said. "He was angry with the villagers because they helped the king in the war." I couldn't speak. This isn't right, I thought. That war happened 350 years ago. Then I remembered the strange clothes, the long hair, and the food over the fire, and the old houses. And I remembered, too, about the horses. "But I don't understand," I cried. "I saw the people in the village. I spoke to some people there." The man looked quickly at me, and then he spoke. "There's an interesting story about the village. For one day every 10 years, it lives again, but only for one day. Then it goes away again for another 10 years. On that one day, you can find the village. But you have to leave before morning, or you will never leave." Can this be right? I thought. Perhaps it was. Mary said, "You have to go." She loved me, but she said, "We have to say goodbye." She was afraid for me. Oh, now I understand, I thought. I went back to the village, but it wasn't there. I looked again and again, but I couldn't find it. I saw only flowers and trees. I heard only the sound of the birds and the wind. I was very sad. I sat down on the ground and cried. I will never forget that day. I remember Mary, and I will always love her. Time passed by. Now I only have to wait 2 months. The village will come back again. On the right day, I will go back. I will find her again, my love with the long black hair. And this time, I will not leave before morning. I will stay with her. 2 mini stories 5. 1. Question for the teacher. It was the last day before holidays. Rita was excited. She was looking forward to go on holidays. She was going to Shimla to visit her Biwa. Class ended at 3 o'clock. The teacher dismissed the students. Rita rose from her seat. She grabbed her things. She had a backpack and a sweater. She had a question to ask. She waited for the teacher. Some students also had questions to ask. There was a line to see the teacher. She got in line. She had a question about an assignment. The teacher spoke to students one at a time. She waited a while. It was finally her turn to ask. "How can I help you?" the teacher asked. She asked her question. The teacher gave her the answer. She was glad to hear it. She thanked the teacher, who smiled and said, "No problem." She went on her way. Rita was an intelligent girl. She always worked hard. She was really good at maths. She completed her assignment before she went to see her Biwa. 2. Class time. Banta lived in up to age 15 in India. Then he went to USA with his uncle's family. He went to school in India only for 4 years. so he could not read or write English. He also had a breathing problem. After being years in America, he joined college. He was in an element English class. One day he entered his classroom. He quickly took a seat. He was a minute late. The professor was calling names. It was his first day of college. He was sweating. He had been running around looking for his classroom. It took him some time to find the classroom. "Banta," the professor called. He raised his hand. He was out of breath. He took out his inhaler. He took a puff from his inhaler. It gave him breath. He took out his notebook and a pen. The professor started talking. He took notes. He always took notes in class. It was a good habit. He studied his notes after class. He was a good student. He wanted only good grades. Time passed by. 8 years later, he was a professor of mathematics. 3. Late to class. Leela lives in Coventry, England. She is 29 and is a school teacher. One day she told a story of her school day to her students. "I was 12 and it was my first day at school. I had my timetable. My first lesson was in room 9X. I went to the hall. I stood there. I looked around. I couldn't see any sign for the room 9X. There were many doors. I did not know which door was the right door to enter. I was lost at school. I was not little. I was 12. I was going to be late. I went into the corridor. There were many doors with room numbers, but there was no 9X. I did not know what to do. I asked a boy, 'Where is room 9X?' He did not know. I asked a girl. She also did not know. No one knew where room 6X was. I checked my notebook where I wrote down my classroom number. It was not room 9X. It was room 6X. Room 9X did not exist. I ran to room 6X. I was 5 minutes late. My mother, though I might had a condition called dyslexia. Dyslexia is a short learning difficulty syndrome. Luckily, I didn't have it. 4. Bahadur the Brave. Bahadur lived in a small town, Philor. God gifted him with many good qualities. He was also of high moral character. Bahadur was very kind to the poor and the needy. Where there was a need, he was there. He always wanted to help whoever was in trouble. He was also incredibly intelligent. He went to the University of Kolkata. He achieved a degree in sociology. He never shied away from telling if someone made a mistake. Everybody in the town had faith in him. Everybody respected him. He was very popular for his bravery. Some rich people in the town did like this. They were jealous of him. They tried everything to defame him. Many times their schemes failed. Deepa and Keepa also lived in the same town. They were rich men. They were very jealous of Bahadur's popularity. They were always upset. One evening, Deepa and Keepa were sitting in a beer bar. They wanted to destroy Bahadur's good name. First, they couldn't think how to do it. They kept talking about it. Finally, they made a plan. They approached a man called Modi. Modi had a bad reputation in the town. He was a bully. He terrorized innocent people. One day, they called Modi to Keepa's house. They asked Modi to do one act for them. They asked Modi to destroy Bahadur's fame. Modi was reluctant to do it first. When he saw a bundle of money, he agreed to do it. Deepa explained their plot to Modi. "Take this 2 lakhs of money and put it in Bahadur's house. The next day, we will report to the police that our money has been stolen. We will mention your name. When the police come to you, then you accuse Bahadur of it." The next day, the police came to Modi's house, and he took the police to Bahadur's house and went back to his house. The police found the 2 lakhs of money hidden in the corner. The police officers looked at Bahadar and asked, "How did this money come into your house?" Bahadar, without losing his patience, said, "Sir, I don't know anything about this money. I also don't know how it came here. There is some conspiracy involved. If you observe Modi closely, you will know the matter. I will fully cooperate with you in the investigation," he said. Since Bahadar is a well-respected man in the town, the police officers went to Modi's house and searched him. The police seized some gold from his house. Then the police asked Modi some questions. He replied that gold belonged to his mother, who passed away a year earlier. Then he told the police all about the plans of Deepa and Keepa. The police put Deepa and Keepa in prison for 2 years. The 2 lakhs of money were given to the schools to buy more books. And Bahadar was more popular than before. 3 adjectives. Here are some adjectives with the endings able, al, en, ibl, ish, and news. Childish. Don't be so childish. You are 15 years old. National. India has more than 20 national newspapers. Comfortable. After a long journey, I was looking forward to sleeping in a comfortable bed. Dangerous. It's dangerous to walk alone in the woods at night. Terrible. You're a terrible liar. You're a terrible driver. Foolish. She was really foolish to quit her job like that. Woolen. Rita's woolen scarf is really expensive. Exercise. Add the correct endings to turn these words into adjectives. 1. Wind. 2. Fool, 3. Gold. 4. Charm. 5. Friend. 6. Child. 7. Rod. 8. Lovey. 9. Danger. 10. Interest. Answers. Add the correct endings to turn these words into adjectives. 1. Windy. 2. Foolish. 3. Golden. 4. Charming. 5. Friendly. 6. Childish. 7. Rotten. 8. Lovely. 9. Dangerous. 10. Interesting. It was a windy day. It was foolish of me to go out. But I saw a girl who had a charming smile. She seemed very friendly. She had a childish face, and her hair was golden in color. First, everything looked lovely, then there was a smell like a rotten egg. Suddenly, I saw a dog. It was smelling something. There were some dangerous chemicals hidden in the area. However, it was an interesting experience. 4. Dialogues. Instant heat. Boy, it's cold outside, isn't it? B. It sure is. In fact, it's cold in the flat too. B. Let's turn on the heat. I'll check to make sure that all the windows are shut. B. It should be warmer in a few minutes. It's so nice to have a heated flat. B. How did they survive in the old days? They had fireplaces. B. Someone had to chop the wood. And carry it into the house. B. All we have to do is turn on a switch. Life in the olden days was different. B. We are lucky. We have so many conveniences. You're right. We should appreciate, shouldn't we? B. Well. 5. Picture dictionary page.